Hey everyone, welcome to DittDott. My name is Amanda, and today I'm going to be showing you one of my absolute favorite Instapot dishes. It is one that my kids ask for over and over. So let's get started. One thing that's really great about doing mac and cheese in the Instapot is that there's no draining at the end. It's all done in one pot, your sauce and draining of the noodles and everything. So it makes for a very easy dish to make. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use your standard macaroni elbows today, but I have done this dish with like little bow tie pastas or the little spirally ones. Just any kind of short, compact shaped pasta will work really well. And the other thing that's awesome about this is you don't really need to measure out how many noodles you want to make. The recipe just scales up and down super easy. So I'm gonna make enough for leftover, so I'm gonna actually use all of these elbows. But the important part is just now covering the noodles up with water. So I just have some water here. I'm going to pour it in, and you want your noodles to just be covered up and then plus like a little bit. So here, let me show you. So this is the most important step. Like, see, some of the noodles are still sticking out of the edges, but most of them are just under the edge of the water. You don't want too much extra water, just enough to just barely cover your noodles. All right, so the next thing you're gonna do is add some salt. And again, it's really hard to mess up. A couple of teaspoons for now is good. And then you'll adjust the salt at the end to your taste. And same thing, I'm gonna do the pepper at the end. Now, the other thing that I add right now is a little bit of stone ground mustard. You can leave this step out, but it really does make just that like background, really makes the macaroni and cheese taste, it really makes it taste better. A couple weeks ago, I had guests over and I made this dish for my kids and their friends. And I was teaching how to make this to my daughter's friend, Andy. And she asked me to make this YouTube video. So Andy, this video is for you. And it was so funny because when I was putting in the mustard, she was like, mustard and mac and cheese? But then when she tasted it, she was like, oh, it really worked. So last but not least is a pat of butter. And all of these ingredients I add now, and then I will adjust the butter and the salt and all that at the end. So the last thing to do is just to get the Instapot going. So for those that are familiar, this actually, I forgot to say, is the 3-quart. You can actually do it in the bigger 6-quart also, but I find this 3-quart Instapot just makes up small dishes like this perfectly. So I'm gonna hit pressure cook. And it's 6 minutes is good. And we will put the lid on, and then that's it. We'll be back in a minute. Okay, so our Instapot has finished, and I've let it kind of do natural release for a few minutes, but who has time for all of that? So we're gonna go ahead and let it do the, quick release. Oh, I guess it only took a couple minutes, so there we go. And I'm gonna show you what it looks like at this stage. So the mustard didn't really cook in, but that's fine. Like, I never really stir it in. And sometimes your noodles are going to be stuck together a little bit, and that's okay. You just need to break them up at this point. And look at that. If you had a little extra water, that's okay, because at this point it'll turn into the sauce, but that's why you don't want too much water. All right, let's add the rest of our ingredients. Okay, one of my favorite things to do with mac and cheese is to use up different random bags of cheese that I have left over in the refrigerator. Now, if you're gonna use a cheddar, an American cheddar especially, because they add a lot of annatto, which will give it that bright orange color that in Europe, they don't really see that in cheddar cheese, which I think is interesting. But we're used to seeing bright orange mac and cheese, so I like to add that. But I often cook with white cheeses more often, so a lot of times my mac and cheese is just a white color. So I'm using up a little bit of this quesadilla cheese. And at this point, it is just kind of mix and stir and taste. And I have some milk. And what you're gonna do is pour in like a cup of milk. And if you like your mac and cheese to be more liquidy, soupy-ish, you're gonna add more milk. And if you like it to be more cheesy, then you'll add less. But basically the starches from the noodles cook off and thicken up, and that is what creates the thickening agent to your mac and cheese. I'm gonna grab some pepper and some more butter. I like to finish off with a little pat of butter. Some people don't put pepper in their mac and cheese. That's something my grandma used to do whenever she would make Kraft macaroni and cheese for us. And she put so much black pepper in it that I grew up, and that's what I thought mac and cheese was supposed to taste like. So I'm used to it, but if you don't like pepper in your mac and cheese, then, you know, don't do it. All right, so I'm gonna give this a taste. I'm guessing I'm gonna wanna add more cheese, but I'm gonna give it a taste and see. And again, since I'm making this for family, I'm just gonna use the same spoon. That's really good. I'm gonna add a little bit more cheese. Really good. Oh yeah, oh, let me show you another secret. Totally forgot about it. This is one of my favorite ingredients. It's nutritional yeast seasoning. And it has, vegans will use this as a cheese replacement a lot of times. It's a very, very cheesy flavor, and it does add a whole lot of vitamins, especially some of the B vitamins, which are hard to actually get. So I actually like to add nutritional yeast into my mac and cheese. Obviously, this is nowhere near a vegan dish, but just because it's a popular vegan ingredient does not mean that us meat people can use it. See, now you can see how it's thickening up. And just the heat from the Instapot does this. You can turn that saute button on if you feel like you poured too much milk, and you just, like, if you add that saute button, it'll help kind of activate those starches and thicken it up more quickly. Just be careful because you don't want to scorch the bottom of your pan. But now you can see we got some really good cheesy mac going on. I'm gonna give it one more taste. Perfect. Okay, and since my kids actually do like it to be on the runnier side, I'm gonna add a little bit of milk, and it's just to your personal preferences and just stirring it in until everything is great. I want to say thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned something new and are willing to try to do a pasta in your Instapot. I mean, obviously not sponsored. That would be my dream sponsor one day, is Instapot, because I use my Instapot almost every single night of the week, I swear. But this is enough mac and cheese for my kids to have leftovers for quite a while. So they'll be very, very happy. All right, y'all have a good day, and until the next video.